Hello, hello, I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. Tonight is going to be a night where we scream "fuck Trump" repeatedly into the void. So, everybody take a deep breath and scream it with me, "Fuck Trump." There you go. That's how we're going to start our evening off and continue it all throughout the evening. If you are here and you are a fan of Donald Trump, I apologize. You should just leave now. I apologize for every bit of suffering that you have in your life. I'm the Chris who plays games. Tonight we're playing Bonk's Revenge, which is the second of the Bonk's adventures on the TurboGrafx-16, aka the PC engine. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. I am looking forward to playing some video games, because video games are a way that I can rescue myself from the seemingly endless form of abuse that the world wishes to infringe upon us all. So, welcome. Sit back, relax, enjoy the stream, and if you don't want to hear about politics, you're in the wrong goddamn place. So, here we go. Here we go. Let's turn this down a little bit, maybe? Feels really loud to me. And maybe do this just a little bit. There we go. Hello, the Awesomeness Destroyer. Hello, hello. Okay. I guess I should have done that earlier, but whatever. We're here now, and we're going to start off playing this game. So, I actually had a hard time... Oh, yeah, so there are a couple of different modes of this game. Easy, intermediate, and expert. Because this is, you know, a 4-hour stream, hopefully we're going to make it through more than just 4 stages. So we will go ahead and do the expert mode, but that does not mean that you should expect us to be doing anything other than cheating, as we always do here on the Chris Plays Games channel. So we will be using save states to our great effect. And yeah, so there are 3 continues, and so there is that. Sure, give me some grapes. I think this entire level is just teaching you a little bit how to play. So this game is unlike many others that I play, not on the Nintendo, the Sega, the Super Nintendo. This is on the TurboGrafx-16. And so one of the interesting things about the TurboGrafx-16 is that it had a very different color palette than the Nintendo. In fact, overall, the graphics capabilities of the TurboGrafx-16 were more similar to the Sega Genesis, hence its 16-bit nature, than they were to the NES. But they're from the same era. So this is from 1991, which is well within the NES game era. But the graphics are much more, you know, kind of Sega Genesis-y. We are in a situation where it's not exactly the same, but, you know, a lot more of the kind of fancy look. I do think that, you know, one thing you'll see is a lot more gradients and a lot more sprites on the screen than you would in a typical NES game. So if you look at, like, the back of Bonk's head, you'll see that he's got more colors there, and I think that this is just a side effect of the various differences in how the graphics chips of these machines worked, that they were just so different. So, hello, Awesomeness Destroyer and everyone else. Okay, so today has been kind of a shitty day in U.S. politics. Donald Trump decided to go ahead and align himself with a traitorous dictator from another country, you know, in a news conference at, thanks, Pink Dotted Lines. In a news conference in Helsinki, he decided to align himself with President Putin of Russia, rather than every intelligence and every agency in the intelligence community in the United States, as well as pretty much the obvious, you know, evidence that has been presented even to the public in the form of a number of indictments and other similar things. How about I don't just jump into fire and die over and over again? Which is kind of unfortunate. One of the things you would really rather your president not do is align himself with your, you know, with countries which are not your allies. And although, you know, Russia is not someone that we're at war with, it is certainly a country that has not been our friend for quite a while. We are currently sanctioning them for terrible behavior, their, you know, invasion of Crimea. Like, there's just so many things. Like, there's so many aspects of the entire situation that it's just ridiculous that, you know, Donald Trump just decided that this was the thing he wanted to do. And former KGB agent, yeah, and it's not like I say that as if it's some kind of, like, you know, secret thing. Like, it's not like I'm, like, making shit up. This is not a conspiracy theory. Like, Putin worked for the KGB. Like, you walked into a room with a KGB agent, and when you were asked by reporters, like, do you believe what your intelligence agents tell you or what the KGB agent you were in the room with told you, you said, I believe the KGB agent. Like, it is so fucking disgusting. It is like, disheartening in the extreme. And, I don't know, I mean, I know exactly how we got here, because we've been talking about it for 2 years now, and watching it for 2 years now, but it's so disheartening, so... Yeah, it's not quite ideal. Exactly, Emily. You've got it in one. Not quite ideal. Yeah, so as my stream description said, like, this is mostly going to be me screaming into the void. I apologize to those who, you know, come to streams like this as an escape from the politics of the day. But unfortunately, that escape has been removed from me, and so you suffer with me. It's just, it's exhausting and scary and so on. Now, I have followed I follow a bunch of political people on Twitter, which maybe I really shouldn't do. Not clear that it's better for my mental health, but whatever, I do. And one thing that's been pointed out is that, like, there's no shock here. You know, the question was only, like, how is Trump going to spin this? It was never like, you know, is he gonna, you know, side with the United States to over Russia? Like, that was never a serious concern or a serious consideration. You know, we expected that he was going to, you know, have a conversation with Putin and come out saying things that were more along the lines of what Putin would want than what we would want. That's not a shock. No one is walking out and being like, oh, like, we had no idea that was going to happen. Of course we knew that was going to happen. It doesn't mean we like it. It doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that we support it. It doesn't mean that, you know, we accept it even. It just is a thing. I mean, it was complete nonsense. It was a combination of, like, 4chan, conspiracy theory, like the where's the server, like, DNC narrative. Like, that's like asking, like, you know, oh, you didn't give me the physical copy of the email, you know, that you took from the Gmail servers. Like, you know, I think putting all the things, so I guess I learned from an article today, his name is Matt, you know, interacts with the intelligence community on a lot of things and has a lot of experience in this space. I don't know what from, but I know he does. And, you know, he is like, yeah, this would be approximately like saying, like, you know, when we wanted an email from Gmail, rather than Google giving us the hard drive it was hosted on, they gave us a digital copy of it. Like, and the hard drive, it's like the hard drive that email is on is irrelevant because you can't read it. It's like a, you know, it's not like, and they pointed out, like, if there's malware, like, you want to, you know, have an active copy of what's in the RAM. Like, it's the stupidest question. It's just like the dumbest fucking take. Which is, of course, what we should expect from a man who is, like, Trump. Like, I'm not saying I am surprised in any way by this, of course. Like, with everything, I'm never surprised by what Trump does. I'm just frustrated and sad at what these things are. Like, it's, oh God, it's so angering and frustrating. And, what? Oh, did I win? Okay. I was like, how did I die? I didn't get hit by anything. Start round 2. There we go. Yeah, like, it is sad, and so, like, Jess was pointing out earlier today, you know, there was the, oh, like, so Putin was asked, like, I don't know, basically, do you have the P-tape or whatever? And his answer was like, look, I didn't even know Trump was in town back then. What, you think we, like, collect bad like intel on all the businessmen who come through Russia? And first of all, I'm like, yeah, actually, that is kind of what I think. Like, I think that anyone who comes to Moscow and is a high-profile businessman should expect that they're going to be recorded. Like, I mean, John fucking Oliver, when he went to, like, interview Snowden, was like, yeah, you know, guys would just show up into our rooms at 4 in the morning and claim they had to do, like, work on the windows or whatever else like that. Like, this is just the way your entire country fucking runs, dude. Of course I think that. And, you know, it was just, like, classic trolling on his part. And it's not like that's surprising. Again, this is Putin. This is what he does. Like no one is surprised by this behavior. But, you know, it's just like, oh, But it, like, I have more respect for him because at least he's, like, standing up, like, he's still being at least patriotic. Well, I guess with Putin it's less about him being patriotic and more about him just being, like, you know, trying to protect. He just has a lot of money. I guess that's it. Like, Putin is an oligarch. He has like billions of dollars. He may be the richest person in the world, even like by Bezos standards. But he can't access any of his money because it's all tied up in the sanctions around his like murdering of journalists and everything else that, like, you know, he's done, that we're punishing for via the Magnitsky Act and those sanctions. And so, like, he can't access his money. Like, Donald Trump doesn't even have billions of dollars. Like, the guy is a complete fraud in every fucking way. And he's sitting here. Do I have, like, a fish on me? I feel like there's a fish on me. There we go. And he's, like, sitting here and oh, good lord. Okay, there we go. Oh wait, no. I can't just run past these guys. I thought I had figured out my solution. Turns out, no. I'm gonna die. I don't know what this guy's doing, but... Oh! Oh, I'm not dead yet. God damn it, I'm dead now. Hello, Hayaga! Welcome, welcome. So yeah, it should not be the case that I am sitting here going like, you know, at least I can respect Putin for having his principles. You have finished the game. Well, I have not finished the game. I have lost the game, but that's a different thing. Alright, go up. Okay, I guess I can swing up these things, and I guess those things that are spikes probably are bad, so I should not swing into those. There we go. Yeah, and like, it's really frustrating, of course, you know, Republicans in Congress have expressed that they are very concerned, as always, and are expressing that concern by doing absolutely nothing. You know, McCain issued a strongly worded statement, and it's really frustrating, like, especially with McCain out. McCain hasn't voted in a single thing, I think, since December of last year. So the guy's basically done. Like, realistically, like, one Republican caucusing with the Democrats would be enough to, like, do something. To do something. Anything. Like, issue a non-binding proclamation that Donald Trump is being a dickbag. Like, you don't have to do a lot to at least start showing some fucking spine. And like, nothing. Like McConnell has no, like, Turtle Man, nothing. Like, the guy just has no compunctions about anything he's doing. He never has, he never will. Like, fine. But like, you, like, caucus with the Democrats and just do something. It doesn't mean you have to vote for everything, but just, like, vote with them on something. And you could make a difference here. And, like, if Jeff Flake were to do that, like, the guy's done, right? Like, he has, you know, he's retiring from politics. Like, he's not running again. I guess maybe there was talk of him looking at a presidential bid in a few years or whatever. But realistically, like, the guy is done. And he could, like, build a legacy for forever by just, like, standing up and doing something. And just wouldn't take much. Okay. What am I doing here? Maybe going to a secret level or something. Oh, what am I supposed to do? I wasn't paying attention. Gotcha. Do I do anything here? I wasn't reading what it said. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't get it. I have to go down. Oh no, I missed it. Okay, well, that did not go well. I got 6. No worries, Hayaga. Alright, okay. Yo no puedo hablar en francés. So I can't help you there. My wife is a good French speaker, but I am not. Yeah. So, like, I honestly believe that, like, McCain cares. Like, I honestly do. Now, whether he'll do anything about it, that I don't believe, because I feel like they care, but they don't care enough, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like legacy protection, or if it's like they're gonna make $1 million by selling their story to right-wing publications, or like I don't know what the motivation is that makes you say at this point, like, I'm getting more out of this than I could get by doing something different. Like, I'm sure there must be something they're thinking of, because I honestly believe that most politicians are rational actors, even if I can't understand what's behind their actions. And so, like, I look at someone like McCain, who's out there making extremely damning statements, and then not doing anything about it, and say, okay, like, what am I missing? Like, what is it that's going on that, like, they think that they don't need to do any more than this? Because I still say, like, if Jeff Flake were to start caucusing with the Democrats tomorrow, like, he would have a place in the history books for, you know, decades, for generations. And, like, yes, that's good. Like that, I would be happier. Oh, shoot. So, like, those weird ghosty things, could I actually kill them in any way? Like, can I hurt them? I don't know. I mean, Putin is using him. Let's just be clear. Like, like that's how he won the election. It's how I mean, there are a lot of, like, to be clear, Hillary lost the election, but Trump didn't win it. And so like he's got the help of the Russians. He's got, like, the whole. I don't understand more of the Republicans not revolting. Like, that I don't get. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I think that that's part of what I keep coming back to, is, like, I don't understand being... I understand being Mitch McConnell. The guy has no moral precepts, whatever, to any extent. Like, he just doesn't care. But I don't understand being Jeff Flake. I don't understand being John McCain. I don't understand, like, how party over country can apply at this point. Like, that's not a thing I understand. Alright. You can kill bad flowers, but can do 1 heart. Okay. So, like, like, McCain is not limited in what he could do. Like, he's not, like, he could vote against anything. Like, any single thing. Like, he could say, I'm not voting on, you know, Supreme Court picks until you know, we've resolved this. Like, we're not gonna do this right now until you sit down and listen to what the Senate Intelligence Committee, listen to what the House Intelligence Committee has to say. Like, there are things he could do. Jump on the floor at spring. Oh! God damn it. Momentum was harder than I thought. Well, so here's the thing, right? Like, Trump is a uniquely, Trump is likely an asset that he has a unique amount of leverage over. You know, Trump has been borrowing in Russia because it's the only place he could get money for a long time. He has no morals whatsoever. He never has. I mean, he's a fucking New York City landlord. Like, this is not an area where, you know, highly scrupulous people go to make their riches. You know, so he sees that. And he sees someone who he's into for a lot of money, and he sees someone who who sees himself as, like, having a kindred spirit in Putin, right? Like, Putin lets Donald Trump feel like he's in the big boys club. Because Donald Trump has never wanted anything more than to, you know, be in the big boys club and impress, you know, his father and everyone else like that forever. Like, that's always been his. Oh shit, that's a bit unfair. Like, seriously, you're gonna throw me on spikes the second I come out of, like, come into the level without any chance to see it? Feels a bit unreasonable, but okay. Oh. This level sucks. There we go. I agree that, so, I mean, Mike, as much as I would love to imagine that, like, Donald Trump is hard to control, like, is there anything he's done that I don't think has been, like, ideal for Putin? Not really. Like, I think he's been pretty fucking close to on the money. Oh, come back here. Alright, good. Are you gonna give me one too? No, okay. Not quite a heart, but I'll take it. Like, I don't look at, like, Donald Trump's actions and be like, oh, yes, he could be much more friendly to Putin. Gotcha. Okay. So I definitely want to look for smileys. Especially in the, extra zones. Oh. I need to, there we go. So I will say, like, let's just be clear. Like, in addition to hacking the DNC, like, Russia also hacked the RNC. You know, you're dealing with people who have had at least, like, fears about Trump for a long time. That was, like, Paul Ryan's, like, it's all in the family comment from forever ago. You're dealing with, like, a set of people who have their own selves have, like, dubious dealings with Russia in some cases. If you look at the, you know, the folks who went to, you know, Russia over the 4th of July and other stuff like that, like these people are not, they're not the most scrupulous dealers. So at least some of them are in a situation where they have, where, you know, Russian intelligence has stuff on them as well. Yeah, well, so, like, Putin never seemed to do very, like, was not being very aggressive about hiding his involvement, right? Like, he's basically realized, like, he can get away with shit in plain sight because the entire country has split at the seams. Oh, did I miss it? God damn it. I wonder... Where was it? We'll go back and do it again. It's very hidden. There's an invisible block. Got it! I think. Yes! Woohoo! I win! Thank you very much. I don't even speak French. Look how great I am. Yeah, okay, so, like, yeah, so I guess that's the question. Like, what's Putin's long game? That is a question I don't have the answer for. So, like, with with Trump, he doesn't have a long game. The guy can't think more than 10 minutes ahead of time. So that's easy. So what's Putin's long game? Well, so, like, part of it is that, like, this is the guy who created an autocracy from, maybe not nothing, but, like, who effectively converted Russia into an autocracy, right? So by eliminating the free press and doing all these other things, like, he's actually been able to turn back the clock quite a ways on the things that are, you know, would allow the US to recover from this. If he's able to help Trump do that, and let's be clear, that's like a huge part of what's going on. Oh shit, those are bad guys and not... I thought those were gonna be like life. They are definitely not. I can't get to those smileys, but there's an extra life up there. Try 2 more times. Oh. And last one. Nope, not gonna do that one. Oh, I have to bounce off the enemies. Alright, well, I screwed that up. Off we go. Yeah, well, so Putin's overall goal is to make so much progress in, like, he figures he can rig the election for Trump this year and in the next election, right? So once you've rigged the election for Trump in this election and the next election, let's see, collect items, avoid fireballs. Okay. Those are fireballs, that's an item. Yeah, so in 8 years, can he do enough damage to, like, the overall EU, NATO alliance, to the United States? Can he get the sanctions rolled back? And basically, I think, like, hide his money in ways that he can access it in like, more palatable Western ways? Like, I think that's the trick, right? Like, he just wants his money. He's got like $280 billion or something ridiculous like that trapped in sanctions that he can't get it out of, and he wants to let it free. But in order to do that, he needs to sufficiently upset the general order of things that he can do that. Is that possible? I don't know. Like, what's his other option? Except that he's never gonna get that money? That doesn't sound like a Putin thing to do. Oh! I want that meat! Give me the meat! Get out of here! That's what I wanted. I mean, like, who's gonna stop him, right? Like, Russia's pretty good at, hacking, and he's not, like, the reality is that with the executive being controlled by Trump, and Trump being an asset of the Russian government, no one's trying to stop the Russians from being more aggressive about hacking into election results or directly or anything else like that. Like, the last time was practice. They were able to, because we weren't paying enough attention, to make, like, massive inroads in understanding how the system works. They now have, like, excellent psyops practice, so they're able to influence us psychologically. And next time will be, instead of psyops, it'll just be direct hacking, and nobody will care because they'll be convinced by right-wing and left-wing, you know, Facebook, like, pages that everything is going well and everything's fine and you know, whatever. I mean, I think that's the calculus. Combine that with complicit Republicans who just want to get elected again at any cost, and combine it with like, overall gerrymandering, which is already underway, and no efforts to stop it. Like, there's just not a lot there. The bosses are very difficult. Romance demands precise timing is what I think I'm going to read that as. This failed. Good job, me. There we go. So I think... Oh! No! Damn it! Hello, Soy Bomb! I apologize for invading your retro gaming tonight with the misadventures of U.S. President Donald Trump as he continues on his ongoing quest to destroy the United States. So yeah, I don't actually think that anything that we know now, like, the reality is that, like, the things that, there are a lot of people who, even before the election, were complaining about many of the things that we know now. Like, it's good that we know them in a way that is less easy for people to defend, because before, the people who were claiming that everything that has just gone on, including, like, just to be clear, like, the other presidential candidate, were like, oh, you're being silly. Like, look now, and look at, like, Hillary Clinton calling Trump Putin's puppet before the 2016 election. Like, she had access to information that we didn't have, and like, is there anyone here who objects to calling Trump Putin's puppet now? Because there's not actually a lot of difference in that relationship from where we were. Like, we knew this shit then, and we couldn't stop it. The people in power knew this shit then, and we couldn't stop it. And so, like, is it possible for him to succeed, you know, with people knowing what they know now? Yeah, I think it is, because I don't actually think that the people who, like... I think there's a lot of people who knew then, and I think that that's where I look at it and say, like, you know, not enough has changed to convince me otherwise. Now, maybe we'll get lucky. Like, maybe there will be enough people on the ball. Maybe we'll put enough time and effort and energy into, like, you know, fixing election systems and you know, ensuring paper ballots and fixing gerrymandering, that we won't, like, fall prey to Russian, like, electioneering tactics. Maybe. But that's been a concern of mine since, like, November of 2016, and nothing has really changed in my mind. Like, I see the behavior of the GOP and the behavior of many in, like, Congress and other things like that as being, like, heavily complicit, so... Hey, you got me. You know how it goes. I got 6 lives. It's fine. I do like how in this game, like, it resets you. Oh, it's kind of a shame I don't restart with my full hearts, but that's fine. Okay, so I hit her once, and then she disappears. And then comes back up. Okay, I cannot hit her while she's spinning. I have to wait for this. Oh, wow. Okay, so I went through that pretty quick. We'll toss a save state there in case we need to come back to it. Okay. And just dodge. Timing's very precise. Okay. Ah! Okay. So go over here. Oh. I'm gonna try this again. So how did I hit her here? Okay, I waited until she was there and then hit her. Okay. Oh, wasn't paying attention there. Oh! Okay. Well, that was not great, but I'll take it. Question is, how many lives am I gonna lose this way? Hello, Barbara! Oh! Screw you! Bonk you to death. Yeah, so, like, absent a pretty serious effort, which we don't have any time for, it is very likely that the Republicans will have significant influence in the 2018 elections, or not the Republicans, the Russians will have significant influence in the 2018 elections. They will use the information they gain from that to attempt to, like, learn what they can do in the 2020 elections. 2020 is obviously the next Trump election. Now, it's possible, just possible, that they won't make enough difference in 2018, they won't know enough, and we will get, like, a Congress that can actually do something about Trump. Maybe. Just maybe. Barbara, if you didn't read, like, the title is very clear. The title, the description, and everything are very clear what's going on here tonight. If you are not interested in politics, you're gonna have to bail. I'm sorry. It's just the way it's gonna be. Not politics all the time, but it's politics tonight. The President of the United States stood on the world stage and basically said, like, I support Putin. I support Putin over my own intelligence agency. Like, I support Putin over the shared knowledge of pretty much everybody. I support Putin over the evidence of what you can see in front of your own eyes. And it's the, like, you know, it's the classic authoritarian approach. It's not surprising. It's not something that people who are experts in the space haven't been calling out for ages as something that was likely to happen or was ongoing. But, you know, at some point, you know, the party asked you to ignore the evidence of your own eyes. That was the final test, right? Like, that's how, what's it called? 1984 goes. So, oh yeah, of course, yes. Oh. Ah! Oh, I wasn't supposed to touch the ground. God damn it. Okay. Well, live and learn. Yes, Trump rose Russia millions. This is what we were talking about before. Is like, what was, like, Putin's leverage on Trump was obvious because Trump has been into Russia for millions for a long time. Ow! Note to self, don't get eaten by dinosaurs. If I touch the 9 without touching the ground, then something. Le Sol is the ground. Yep. Deutsche Bank, Russia, like, and then, like, Deutsche Bank has been investigated for being in bed with Russia and, like, all this shit, too, right? So, it's all one big, like, mess. And so, like, Trump is into into Russia for millions. Putin wants a way to get access or billions or whatever, I don't know. You know, Putin wants a way to get access to his $280 billion, which is currently largely sanctioned by the US government as a result of him invading the Ukraine, and Crimea. And like, everything here makes sense except for, like, Putin's endgame. If you believe that you can, like, have enough control over the United States to maintain control, then even that is pretty obvious. Like, the end game is, like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna destroy NATO, I'm gonna destroy the EU, and I'm gonna get my shit. And I don't know, like, how long you expect that to work for. I don't know, you know, anything else about what Putin's thought process is, but that part is pretty clear. But yes, like I said, anyone who's not interested in politics tonight, you're in the wrong place. I'm sorry, I need to scream into the void, and this is my void to scream into. There's something rare in here. Yeah, I don't know enough French for that one. Oh god! Okay. That kind of worked the way I wanted it to, sort of. Yeah, I'm like, I mean, like, so in general with, I agree with, like, I at least accept that, like, you know, at least people who aren't getting in the way, like, I'm totally down with, like, none of us can do everything, right? Like, we just can't. But at the moment, I'm definitely having one of those days where I'm like, nope, we're all fucked. So I apologize that I am contributing to the problem here and not the solution. I do agree that it's happening, and ask me again in a week or two how I feel. So... But yeah, so I think, you know, like, the biggest thing is vote. Like, the biggest thing that we need to do, like, as a society, as anyone who thinks that Trump is a problem, is to vote him out. We need to get our like, in November, you should vote for Democrats. Pretty much every Republican at this point is complicit with this. Like, they are making noises but doing nothing. And so, like, as much as I wish that I could advocate for a conservative party in this country, like, practically speaking, I don't think that I can, because, like, one doesn't exist. I mean, it can pass, but I don't want it to pass in the way that, like, jump on floor, it's sprung, don't fall. Damn it! Yeah, don't go scorched earth on everything either. Like, it's not over yet. But the biggest thing to do, like I said, talk to your neighbors, you know, register to vote, tell other people to register to vote, and at this point, I'm sorry if you support the ideals of conservatism. I'm sorry if you don't like what Democrats are voting for. If you want democracy in this country, then the thing to vote for, and not like a puppet autocracy largely controlled by Russia, then what you have to do is vote for Democrats. Anything else is a vote that is voting for autocracy at this point. There's, like, unless you're voting for, like, Justin Amash. Like, there's 2 or 3 House members who maybe I could be convinced are attempting to do the right thing and failing. I'm not convinced any of them is doing enough, but, like, maybe I could be convinced there. But as far as senators go, like, you can't vote for Republicans, because if Republicans stay in power in the Senate, they will continue to do nothing. And that's the problem. Like, it doesn't matter whether you agree with the, like, personal politics, you're voting at that point for Mitch McConnell, and Mitch McConnell is a fucking turtle-headed snake who will do absolutely nothing to, like, take this country back from Russia, which has invaded it, digitally, and, like, taken control of our elections. So, up through the glaciers, don't slip. Okay. Success! Not really. Ow. That was not very comfortable. Ah! Oh, I thought there was an extra life there for a second, but it was just my own face. God damn it. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I've been back in my office for, since the 4th of July. Alicia is back in California, and so I am back in my office. Where at the moment it's ridiculously hot. The problem with this office being so small is that, like, if I turn on the AC, it gets cold for a little bit, but the computer heats it up so much that, like, even if it's, like, 65 in here when I start, it almost immediately becomes quite warm. It's very unfortunate. Okay. Aha! I got you! Ow! I lost my firepower. God damn it! Does the points do anything for me, though? Because I don't really care about the points. I just care about, like, hearts and shit. Ah! This is bad. I'm gonna die. There we go. Points can give me lives, okay. I mean, I've got an AC right here, but I don't want to run it during my live stream because it feels loud. So, like, if I turn this on, like, when I talk, you're gonna hear a bunch of noise. And then, like, it bothers me from a production quality standpoint to have a noisy AC. Alright. What do we got this time? Oh, ow. Okay, well that was not a great start. Nope. Not a great continuing either. Alright, let's do better. Well, that's what I was saying, Jeff. Like, I do that, but because the room is so, like, so small, like, it doesn't actually have a lot of thermal, it's just not a lot of thermal, energy. The computer heats it up in about 30 minutes. Even if it's, like, 64 in here. There we go. Oh, God. There's a second phase. That's not even his final form. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. So where does a continue take me? Yeah. Start way back here. Ugh. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I mean, the answer is really just, like, learn to deal with the fact that, you know, my air conditioner makes noise. Like, that's the actual answer. Okay, let's try not taking damage from him, as opposed to just, like, standing on top of him and having him hit me repeatedly. Ow! Okay, so I failed there because I didn't expect him to come back up when I was underneath, so that's a good thing to know, is that he does that, and he's fine with that, so... Ah! Fuck! Ah! I don't like the fact that he can come up right underneath me. Definitely not encouraging. Okay. Jump on him before, when he goes down before he sends his fireballs. Gotcha. Ah! Fuck you. Okay, deep breaths. Calm your tits. Oh, I was trying to get off and I couldn't. Okay, so missiles go by. Yes. Yes! Ah. And I got 17 smileys, so I get something out of that. Not enough. Been better to get 20, but you know, I tried. Throw me a thing. So when I continue, do I lose my heart container, or do I continue with 4 heart containers? I don't know this. Let us find out. Alright, kill me. I lose my heart container. Okay. That's what I expected. So I will at least try. Maybe this is the right thing to do, though. It's like, I had no lives. Alright. I'm gonna go with this, because I don't think there's gonna be enough extra lives to get me back up. But if I get to the end of this and I have like 8 lives, then I'll change my mind. Yeah, like having a lot more heart containers would obviously be good, but having no lives is bad. I don't know. I'll probably regret my decision, but so it goes. A lot of heart containers. Oh god! Okay. I assume like one of them is up top there. Ugh. Yeah. But I seem to be having a little bit of trouble with that part of it, so I think it's unreasonable to expect me to pull that trick off. Ugh. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm gonna try and see if I can get... We'll try this, and then we'll go back. Like, if we have to continue, we'll come back to here. It's not the end of the world. What time is it? It's 10:07. 10:07 p.m. I don't know why I did that. I knew that they were all bad. Like, they were all bad last time. Why would they be any better this time? Yeah, so I want to get up there. How do I get up there? I don't think I can. Ha! Got you. And you. Ugh. Nope, never heard of Utopia. Oh god! I knew that was gonna happen, but I realized it just a little bit too late. Ba-bum. Oh right, I need to... Ah. Okay, well, that wasn't great. Does these sandwiches give me life? They don't seem to. Orange waterfall, go! So, orange waterfall is not what I would describe this as. I would say, like, fire waterfall, but okay. We're just pretending that's, like, I guess calling it a fire waterfall is kind of dumb, but, okay, well, that's probably a bad sign for me. And probably means that I am going to have to do a continue on this world instead of continuing. That was not, that is a silly statement, but I'll have to do a continue on this world instead of playing through. Okay, so currently I have 100,000 life. Oh, get out of here, fish. Alright. Yeah, so let's go back to the continue here. And it's unfortunate that I will be down a heart container, but what can you do? Alright, don't do that. Oh! Almost! Okay, is it literally like I have to get killed by that guy in order to get up there? Because that seems silly. Oh, I probably have to bounce off those guys. Oh well. This is dumb. So the TurboGrafx 16 is not actually a 16-bit console. It's two 8-bit controllers. So they are and I'm gonna. This is all from memory. I looked it up at one point, and I could be wrong, but I think it's actually just two 8-bit microprocessors, which is why it has some of the graphics effects that you are like more advanced, but not all of the things that you'd expect from a console that was better, like more, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, I think your perception that this doesn't feel like an actual 16-bit console is consistent with the reality. Damn it! I want to get back to get more life, and I got hit again. Yeah, I think similar to that, yes. Ah. That was dumb. No reason for me to land head down there. But whatever. Oh, right. Thanks, Van Helsing. Yeah, I needed to scream into the void, and I wanted people to not come in here and be like, oh my gosh, this stream is about politics. And I'd be like, yes, it is. In fact, look, you can tell. Of course, then people did that anyway, Barbara. But, you know, whatever. Oh, dumb, 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 dumb. Okay. See, this is the part where I can't just, like, brute force my way through the rest of the game anymore. I'm gonna have to actually learn to play. Unfortunately, what you're supposed to do is learn how to play in the beginning of the game, and then, like, be good by this point. I chose the other approach, where I never got good. Hello, Narcost! Welcome to the stream! Ah, yes. So, the President of the United States is a, is no longer a secret Russian agent, but is instead a quite public Russian agent working to destroy the democracy that we have spent so long building. His behavior is utterly reprehensible, and I am ashamed to claim to be a resident of the United States at this point. Russia is an autocracy authoritarian state that has done much evil in the world, and we can't even get our president to acknowledge it? It's so fucking weird. Like how? I don't know. I mean, I know that Donald Trump just wants power. Like, I get that in theory. And he thinks he's gonna get it, which he's wrong. Like, let's just be clear. Like, Donald Trump is not effective at anything, and I just don't actually think that he's going to be... Like, when the United States becomes a, you know, a theocracy, like an authoritarian theocracy, I don't see Donald Trump at the head of that. I don't think he has the right skills. He's not a very good runner of things, so... Van Helsing, I have not. I was aware that that was a risk when I made my title, and I decided to go with it anyway, so... I kind of want some, just so I can yell at them. Like, I'm just angry. I'm angry, and I want someone to blame, and I want someone to yell at, and I want someone to like, tell me I'm wrong, so I can be like, you terrible fucking traitor. That's what I want. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but just the anger I'm feeling right now. I did get called a bot yesterday, so I posted so a friend of mine watched through Sacha Baron Cohen's, you know, This Is America or whatever he called it, TV show, and a friend of mine watched through it and basically said, like, this is garbage. Like, it's utterly deceptive, it's deceptively edited, like, it's taking it's punching down on Native Americans, like, it's using terrible tropes to, like, beat up on people. Oh, that was it? There wasn't, like, a boss? That waterfall level is the boss. Okay. Alright. Start round 6. Okay, so I have 2 continues. I'm on round 6. Go. We got some life. It's good. Of course, I took a hit there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and toss this as 7. Yeah, I mean, the whole, like, as Leif said, the whole bit system was kind of silly. It would have been better if there was some better way for us to look at that in the first place. Oh, darn. Wanted to get through that. I don't know if I was supposed to grab that sock, but I didn't. Alright, Hatchet's hometown. Grab some socks. Well, so overall, the, like, I think that the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx definitely had improved graphics over the Nintendo. Like, there's no doubt on that in my mind. Like, the 16 versus whatever bits, like, this is all silly numbers. Like, there are multiple interfaces, multiple processors, like, it's all a little bit silly, but, okay, I can receive a bonus contained in a flower that allows me to fly if I quickly press the jump button. Alright, cool. I'm trying to figure out if I wanna... I'm gonna go at this again without continuing first, and then try after that. So yeah, I don't know, the whole system's stupid. But the reality is that it's not, like, much stupider than what we have today. Like, is an i7 better than an i5? Well, no, not really. It depends on what the i7 is. And so, like, those are just numbers. They mean something in marketing land, but they don't mean anything practically. What matters is, you know, what are you trying to do with it? You know, what's your goal? What's your needs? And then, of course, like, in the case of consoles, like, what are the programmers doing with it, right? So Nintendo, by virtue of being so popular, in some cases had, like, one, you would have, like, a lot of developers wanted to be on Nintendo, just like they want to be on, like, a lot of the indie developers want to be on Switch now when they didn't used to be, because there's so much more reach for an indie developer there than there used to be, or whatever else. And Nintendo's talking about putting, what, like 20 indie games a week on the Switch or something? I need to figure out how to do those better. I think I have to bonk them on the with my head or whatever. Break the chimneys if there's something underneath. Okay. Oh, okay, like this. Oh. There we go. Yeah, so it's not clear that Nintendo's Discovery system is set up for that many games. But that's, I mean, that still only means like 1,000 games within the first year. Like, that's not actually that bad. That's certainly the type of thing that can be solved with, like, categorization and ratings and other stuff like that. You know, so I think the, like, Steam platform at this point has, like, tens or hundreds of thousands of games, so just to give you a sense of space. Hey Medusa, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so I think... There we go. Is that Krillin from Dragon Ball Z? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z or Krillin, so... Oh no! I lost my fire head. God damn it. Like that. It was working out well for me. Gotcha. Ah, gotcha. This is my flying bonus. Problem is that... Okay. You go away. At some point that had to end, I think. Didn't seem like I was going to be able to win it forever. I hate these bubbles, they're too small. Hey, success! Uh-oh. There was something to the left I should have grabbed. What was to the left? One heart container and one life. That sounds like going back for. Worth going back for. I'll take it. No, 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 no. There we go. Okay, so which way do I go? Over here. And there's some flowers. Okay. There's 2 flowers. Do I take them both? I guess I should have taken the other one first. There we go. Okay, cool. Good to know. Thanks for the help. This game is not realistic. That is correct. I agree. Hey, that was pretty quick. I agree. Do not question logic of old games. They are what they are. Just accept them for what they are. Yes! Yes! This is Marv Albert. Anyway, yes, so our president is a Russian stooge. The only way we can fix this is that if we're really aggressive, maybe we can vote in this year in November, and we can elect a congressional delegation that will actually hold him accountable for something, maybe, somewhere, maybe. If we don't do that, we're really fucked, because by the time 2018 president or 2020 presidential elections roll along, if the Republicans are allowed to continue to have their way, they will fuck up the ability for us to have free and open elections. Our elections will more closely resemble those of Putin's Russia than they do of the United States today, and we really should do something about that. So vote for Democrats, because Republicans are assholes. So there's another heart receptacle. Look carefully. Heart container, where would you be? Heart container, up in a tree? Would you be underneath some spikes? Would you be in a bunch of bikes? I don't know where you can go, but we'll look down in the snow. Omega Vanguard, voting third party does not achieve, so here's the reality, sadly, because I don't really like this, and I generally dislike the, like, if you're not with me, you're against me. Unfortunately, due to our lack of anything other than first past the post voting, combined with a system in Congress, in the Senate especially, but in Congress that allows the majority party to drive what the who gets to set the agenda. Basically, whoever has the majority of caucus members in the House, or in Senate rather, is the one who gets to make the rules about what gets to be against the rules. So in any other election, like, vote a third party, like, vote your conscience, do whatever, like, fine. You know, shit happens, I'm not gonna get my way, that's fine. What we're dealing with at this point is a president who is involved in being a traitor to the country. Oh, left as a tower outside of it. Huh, okay. And while the Republicans, like, stay in control of the majority of the seats and have decided to do nothing about it, then having Republicans in charge is bad, and having third parties in the House doesn't help. I guess, like, if you were voting third party in a place that would otherwise be Republican, maybe it helps, but a Democrat helps twice as much, right? Like, because just, like, that's how the numbers work. God damn it. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can find this off to the right before I restore to a previous save state. So is it like... Oh, right, I have to climb up the outside? Is that the thing? Yeah, Bonk is just getting, like, bloodied here. What? Fucking bloodied this man. Alright, this is what I... Oh, can I not? Oh... So yeah, so third parties are... Mikey the Gamer, I'm not totally gonna disagree with you. Like, I'm not sure how that's relevant to the statement I'm making, but yes. You have another passage, okay. Like, I should go up higher? Okay. So I was like, I cannot get there. Anyway. Let's see, where was I? Is here? Here. Hello, Org Chaos! Yeah, so I would love for third parties to be viable. Unfortunately, they're not. Unfortunately, basically, all that matters in order to protect our democracy at this point is to ensure that the Democratic caucus gets control of the House and the Senate. That's the only way that I believe we will be able to have free and fair elections, and that's the thing. So, vote the Whig Party. Whig was spelled with an H. We're not voting for people with hair, like, with long, you know, curly locks. They canceled your dinner order? You should cancel them. Be like, I'm never dinner party ordering from you again. They won't care, though. I'm gonna die. Kinda unfortunate. Ow! You the ghosts. Think you can go ahead and fuck my shit up? Because you cannot fuck my shit up. But yeah, so come to me, like, after Democrats, like, if Democrats retake the House and retake the Senate and they, like, fix democracy, then we can talk about voting third party. You know, the reality is that to make third parties viable in this country, the thing we really need to do is to, oh, that was dumb of me. I, like, changed my mind on what I wanted to do 3 times while I was coming down there. I was like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. And, like, fucked it up every time. Unsurprisingly. But yeah, so I would love to get something other than first past the post voting. I would love to get something other than, like, winner take all for a lot of things. It's one of the things that I am happy about, like, you know, Democratic primaries over Republican primaries, is that Democratic Party primaries use a, what's it called? A system of... Cool. Take that. Now we'll go down to the other side. So they use proportional distribution of delegates in the primaries, which I think is good. And I, like, part of the reason why Donald Trump won was because of, like, winner-take-all states that he won in big states, similar to that. We could talk about getting rid of the popular vote, or getting rid of the, you know, electoral college. We can talk about all kinds of electoral changes, but we can't do any of those things if we don't have a country to defend. And that's really, I think, unfortunately, what we're dealing with potentially in this space. I mean... I don't actually think democracy is dependent on people knowing what's, like, let's keep in mind that, like, the United States' version of democracy, which is not, like, direct democracy, was never built for people who knew what the fuck was going on, right? The whole thing was designed around the idea that people didn't know what's going on. That was why the Electoral College existed. That's why the people were elected by, you know, delegates. That's why all of the systems that we've built was because at the time our government was created, it was created in an extremely low information society, even by, you know, today's standards, or especially by today's standards. Okay. This. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. I have 5 heart containers, but it's not like it matters because those heart containers are not going to be refilled in this boss fight, so... Alright. Let's go, bossy. Come on, bring it on. Oh, God! When I said bring it on, I didn't mean, like, come at me. So I would say that treat anything that Prager University says with, rigorous evaluation. They are definitely an organization in general which has produced interesting, like, content, but there is definitely a heavy bias there, and some of their content is, frankly, outright misleading. So, you know, I don't know... There is, an aspect of the Electoral College is that basically because of how votes are counted, it might be a different thing to establish whether the overall election was influenced by a small number of, like, illicit votes. The reality is that, like, election fraud does not exist in any meaningful way at the national level in this country. Like, individual election fraud just doesn't happen, and, like, bulk election fraud is, like, rare, and people get caught at it all the time, so there's not a lot of motivation for most people to do it. So that's something to keep in mind, is that, like, election fraud is basically not a problem. So I think the reality is that, you know, as it is now, one, as an extremely small number of, you know, Electoral College changing to popular vote does not change how the Senate works. It doesn't change how the House works. It doesn't change anything else like that. I think that the, so you will always be represented in that way. As far as the presidential election, like, the reality is that, like, presidents cater to swing states like Iowa and Michigan and all these other things, and cater to neither the rural areas, which are reliably Republican, nor the coastal, like, urban areas, which are reliably Democratic. And instead you get this weird in-between, where you've got, oh. Is this like a boss rush? Oh, okay, hold on. The top left. Let's do that then. And so if you were to take, and move to a popular vote instead of to the Electoral College. Oh, shit. That's a bit unfair. There would be motivation for presidential candidates to make promises and think about areas that were not just the, like, few small spaces that influence the Electoral College votes, and the number of votes that they would need would be significantly higher, and you know, it would be more difficult to get those votes, despite Donald Trump's claims to the contrary. Remember, rule number 1, if Donald Trump says it, it's probably false. So are they in here somewhere, like in these boxes? But yeah, I mean, the reality is, like I said, none of this matters if we lose access to democracy. None of this matters if we, like, are in a situation where the people in charge have decided that they are totally fine with handing over control of our elections to a foreign power, if they've decided that they're totally fine with, like, you know, the president being beholden to and an asset of a foreign government, if it were decided that the KGB is right and the CIA is wrong, then none of this fucking matters. And so, like, all of the other things that we can and should discuss... Okay, now I'm a crab. Alright, that's good to know. Like, all of these things are all well and good, but before we worry about any of them, we got bigger problems at the moment. Basically what it comes down to. Alright, how do I... Okay, I want to go this way first because I want to get this height container before I fill it up on the top. There we go. Alright. Looking good. Well, the reality is that it's not, like, tiny states are not actually targeted more. What are targeted more are states that have narrow electoral, like, narrow, vote margin distributions of, okay. What are targeted more are not large states or small states. They are states that have, that are more evenly split in their, like, past outcome or their polling outcomes or whatever. And I'm not saying that's bad, like, it's a thing, but it does mean that they end up targeting a very narrow set of states. Like, there's a reason that people talk about things like, you know, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Ohio as being swing states, and I honestly don't think that the people of Ohio, like, somehow better represent, like, the people of the United States than, well, that was shitty. Than the people of Indiana or the people of, you know, any other state. Like I don't think that's sensible. But I understand if reasonable people will disagree. But I don't think that anyone will disagree that believing the CIA, or I think there are very few people who will agree that believing the CIA above the KGB is better for the United States. Like, in general, as much as I hate a lot of aspects of our entire national security infrastructure, as much as I hate, like, a lot of things about this country and how we do collection of data and how we do a whole bunch of other really shitty things, there is no way that you're going to find me saying that I think that the KGB is better about this. Like, that is senseless. And that's where we are today. And we have to fix that first. Like, one thing at a time. Like, you know, we can come back, you know, next year, and you can tell me if, you know, we should be doing something different, so. Yeah, well, 7% is huge. Like, that's not even close. Like, if you're not, you gotta be really tiny differences to be worth talking to. Hello, all in one mighty. So yes, vote. If you haven't had your primaries yet, vote for someone that you will be willing to support in the primary. That's what primaries are for. If you have already had your primary in the general election, vote for the Democrat. Because the Democrats are the only ones that are willing to, like, stand up and do something about the fact that our president is now a Russian agent. Which is just a fucking weird thing to say. Like, it's just so weird. I don't... It's gross, and I hate it, but it's the reality. Yeah, well, in California, yes, you have a different problem. You have a choice. You can vote for the Democrat or the Democrat as per your, you know, wishes. That's fine. I want more life. How do I get more life? Oh, God. I mean, in California, there is a problem if, like, I can't just tell you vote for the Democrat in the general, because in the general, there will be 2 Democrats in almost every district. There we go. Well, Almighty, I am here from 9:15 to 1:15 a.m. almost every Monday and Friday. I will actually not be here on August 6th. I will not be here on August 6th because I'm going to go to my local burlesque show put on by Elsa Riot. It's a show called Smoke and Shadows here at the Rockland in Somerville, and I absolutely love Elsa's show. She does an excellent job with bringing together amazing people from the local burlesque scene, and I'm super excited about it. And a couple of weeks ago, I was watching someone on Twitch, and you know, she was talking about, like, this is my schedule, I usually do this unless there's adventures, and if there's adventures, then, you know, adventures come first. And, you know, I've been thinking about, like, I've always been a big proponent of live streams that are scheduled. You know, it's been a big thing for me that I've spoken out a bunch of times. I say, you know, schedule first, last, always, and always. And you know, thinking about that made me realize, like, there's so many adventures that I have given up on, like, in pursuit of this, like, perfect schedule, and it's silly. Like, it's not really, like, you folks are friends, you folks are fans, and I love having you here, but if I start an hour late on a Monday and I tell you ahead of time, then, you know, like, you're not gonna die, you're not gonna suffer, and, you know, it'll be fine. Am I have crab now? Okay. The Narcos schedule, aka no schedule. But yeah, and I think Van actually raises an additional point, which is, like, don't just vote, like, get out there and help register people to vote, knock doors, you know, make phone calls, and you don't even have to do it, like, for a candidate. Like, just go out there with voter advocacy orgs and get people to register to vote, because I 100%, like, 100% believe that of the people who did not vote in the last election, if we get more of them out to vote, that they will vote the way I want them to, frankly. So I don't worry about that. Like, if you want to go out there and just register everyone you can to vote, like, find a voter advocacy org, find whatever, I'm 100% down with that, and it would be the best thing ever if you could do that. God, ugh! This guy. This is the one I think I'm supposed to just, like, hit. He doesn't have that much health. I just need to get him. Ah! Alright, what do I do? Is this? Yeah. I do a little bit better than that. How do you get a crab from squishing? No, Jeff, I stand by, like, register everyone to vote. Like, even in Missouri, register everyone to vote. Like, will there be some Republicans in there? Yeah, there will, and that's okay. Because if you go out there and you just try your very best to register every single person you can to vote, you will register more people to vote who are going to come out and be, like, the reason for this, right, is, like, even if you register Republicans to vote who think they're going to vote for Republican candidates, the reality is that with the enthusiasm levels that Democrats are providing in the races that are ongoing, the enthusiasm is way higher on the Democratic side. So the Republicans who register to vote are way less likely to actually come out and vote when it's time to, and so it's fine. Like, go out there and register, you know, everyone you can. Like, don't just register Republicans, because that would be kind of unnecessary, but, like, register everybody, because I firmly believe that the people of this country, like, actually, and I know what the polls say, and I know the numbers, and I know everything else, that overall, if we get more people to vote, then Democrats will win. Well, so I don't know what Palm Springs is like what you know, Southern California is like. Generally speaking, I think that your ballot is not going to control the thing that I am most concerned about in the 2018 House elections, House or Senate elections. Wow, these fish just fucked me up. Well, kind of unfortunate, but... But yes, apathy sucks. Yeah, and the reality is, like, go out to vote because there are, because there's going to be so much gerrymandering, there's going to be so much vote suppression, there's going to be so many things in this election cycle that are ramped up drastically that, like, just go out there and vote. Like, go out there and just vote. Wow. Really not happy. Oh, and I didn't even get squished like a crab. God damn it. Ah! I'm gonna go back. Yep. Good. Listen to me. Vote for the Democrat. You may have to check, though. Like I said, in California, there may be 2 Democrats. But yes, go vote. Vote for Democrats. Yeah. And we can talk about how to make it so that in the future you have a meaningful choice in the future. I will happily have that conversation. Yeah, that sucks, Yaga. Like, I spent all this time to get all these heart containers, and I can't even do anything with them. Oh, right, I can't attack this person while she's spinning. Ugh. Okay, I need to go... Let's see, here. Let's do this again. Alright. I have to do better than that. Oh! Ah! Got you, fish. Take that. Okay. Let's avoid the plant. I mean, so the reality is that, like, ideally you would vote for the Democrat who better represented your policy positions. And if you have a hard time doing that, which is sometimes the case, then, you know, I'm happy to help research. I'm happy to help discuss it. You know, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation to say, you know, what do you think the difference between these two are, I'm happy to, you know, assist people with that. But if you vote for a Democrat, at that point, I don't care. Like, it's like, I have personal preferences, but that's not, it's not going to be as important. These fucking fish. Good God. I would generally think that, you know, voting for younger people is going to be more aligned with the interests of most people who come to my streams. The reality is that my perception is that the old white guys in Congress have mostly been there forever. There is a problem with, in general, with voting for whoever the new person is, especially in the House and even in the Senate. There's a lot of positions that are based on tenure. So how long you've been in the House controls, you know, what committees you get on and other things like that. And those votes, and so, like, voting for the younger person who isn't the incumbent is going to be potentially problematic. This only applies if they're the incumbent. So voting for the incumbent can be better because you're voting for someone who's going to have better access via the systems that the House and the Senate have built. They'll be on better committees, so they'll have more control over things like the Intelligence Committee, or the Foreign Relations Committee, or other things that matter rather than, like, the Transportation Committee or the Internet Policy Division or other things like that. But that's a more minor thing. So that's one of the considerations that I have to make with my current choice is, like, I'm choosing between Ayanna Pressley and Mike Capuano. Mike Capuano has been in the House for like 18 years, like 10 terms at this point. And so for him, I have to really look and say, you know, if we have someone who's been there for a long time, he basically gets his pick of which committees he's on, or I have to vote for Ayana, who, like, is a black woman, recently, like, the first black woman elected to Boston City Council, and all these other things, but, like, she's not going to, and she's younger and not an old white guy, but, like, she isn't going to have access, she isn't going to have the same relationships with people on the Hill as someone else. Generally speaking, my vote is for better representation, right? Like, I feel that more diverse voices, and we've talked about this before on the stream, more diverse voices are good, not because the people themselves are better, but because differences of opinion are good. And I frankly think that the old white guy problem is in part that old white guys are, when that's all you know, there's plenty of people voting for the old white guy things. So I would vote for something other than the old white guy things because I think that's an important decision to make. Because there's more than old white guys in the United States. Last I checked, anyway. I hate this boss. Hello, Celso. Yes, I'm the bully, says the woman kicking me as she dances around the room. That sounds real fair. Oh, so Mighty, Hyaga speaks French, and is working primarily through Google Translate, I think. He was helping me on the earlier levels, giving me directions on where I could find an extra heart container in French. And I worked it out, because I'm brilliant. Mighty also speaks French. Ow! Leave me alone. But I also realized that my vote and how I would vote is different. The reason that I have that choice to make is in part because the two congressional reps that I'm looking at, they literally have no policy differences. Like, they've actually, like, Ayana has basically said, like, I realized that my policy positions and Mike Capuano's policy positions would be very similar, but, like, at some point you have to start building your backbench. Like, Capuano is not going to be able to represent me for forever, and so I have to start looking at, like, okay, what comes next after him? Use Deep L for translation. There you go. You speak French only because you were forced to. I guess I didn't know that. Well, I am sorry if I misrepresented your French speaking. It was not intentional. Alright. Oh, are you looking at senators or House reps, Leif? I don't have an opinion on the Senate race at the moment. Because that's Feinstein's the senator, right? Alright. I won! Well, you're doing great, Hyaga. Much better than I would be doing. Alright, I recognize this guy. Oh, I missed. English is easy. English isn't easy! I can't even speak that language, so... Yeah, so Feinstein versus the other guy, you know, that's a hard one for me. I mean, one of the things that I look at with Feinstein is she's already... like 78 or 81, like she's old, like really old. And so I worry a lot about that just because I like, Senate runs her 6 years. Like, by the time she's done, she's gonna be 87. And I understand that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is out there, like, planking every day at 87 or whatever. But, like, I just don't think that's the norm, so... At 91, yeah, okay, so she's even older than I thought. Like, she's, like, 84 now. Like, that's, like, 91 years old. No, like, stay home. Like, I don't want you doing that. Thanks for subscribing. Sorry, that was a little bit loud, I'm sure. Oh, can I, like, jump up here? Nope. Come on. Come on, baby. Go. Oh. Alright, this one's not gonna work out so well. Alright, let's see if we can do a little bit better this time. Whoop, failed. Oh, whoa. Deep breaths. Okay, so that was not the right approach, but it's okay. Come on. Dive at me, buddy. Or just stay up there forever. There we go. Of course, as soon as I decide he's not going to come down, he comes down. Alright, glove, 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 glove. Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. There's a real final boss after this? Great. I think I do have one continue, so I can at least get full lives again, but since I will not have full hearts at that point, so unless there's like a heart container and 3 lives, this is gonna be a little bit rough, but we'll deal. We'll deal. It's fine. Save state heavily. Rule number 1, the CPG should always cheat. That's actually rule number 4. Okay. But yeah, if you actually want, like, if you are interested in understanding why I think Democrats are good for you, I am always happy to help understand that for someone. I think that a lot of people who are, you know, consider themselves centrists or like moderate or other things like that are really, and this is not going to be true for everybody, but are misunderstanding the level to which if you are not significantly more wealthy than I am, Republicans are not acting in your best interests. And that's concerning to me. And I'm happy to help with that, but people have to care. I'm not going to force that on people. So, come on. Let's go. But yeah, at this point, my goal is just, like, get people out, get people to vote, get people registered, get people to vote. That's what I want. So, tell your friends, tell your family, tell whoever, and if you need help, let me know. Okay, so... yeah, no life. Oh, shoot, that was bad. Oh, crap. I bet if I continue, I have to do all of those bosses over again, don't I? God damn it. Okay, let me... I have no idea how I'm supposed to get through this guy. Cool. Alright, where does my continue take me? Take me somewhere good. No! No. God damn it. Okay. Alright. Ah, that was not what I was expecting. Yeah. I've made a huge mistake. Okay, well, let's see. What can I go back to? Okay, so now I have 4 lives. I have 7 hearts. Let's see if we can make it through this level with a little bit more life. Yeah, so the problem that I'm having here, right, is that I think that at this point there's no more life for me in the rest of the level. So whatever I have here is what I'm going to go to the boss with, and because even if I have lives, they only get me 3 hearts, I have at this point 7 plus 9, like I have that many hearts. So every heart that I take is taking away like 1 of my 16 hearts. And there's no way around that. I mean, what would the Trump video game be? Because I can't think of any video game I would want to play that involves Trump personally. Oh no, he got me! Get off my head! Oh, the stupid fish! Okay. Try this again. Oh! No, get off of me! Ugh. Alright. So I gotta find a better way to beat this boss. This is where I think I lost a lot of my health last time. So when am I supposed to hit her? Like when she stops, I'm supposed to hit her? Hey, well, that's good. That's Friday. So this Friday, I will be doing Choose Your Own Adventure book reading. I've hooked up a whole UI so I can read through the books easily. You'll be able to vote in the chat, and we're going to do a whole thing. So I got 4 different books picked out. We'll be able to play through, and we'll be doing that all night long. So I hope everyone's excited for that. Friday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, we'll be doing Choose Your Own Adventure books here on the channel. If you remember them from your childhood, those are exactly the ones I'm talking about. They were the ones that I picked out were written in 1983, 1979, something else like that. So definitely some old school Choose Your Own Adventure book reading going on. And there will be no discussion of politics on that night. So tune in for that. Invite your friends. I think these will be more fun if we can do them together. So definitely do that. Be there. Have fun. It'll be great. All right. See, like, I got her, but I took damage still. So what's the trick to not take damage? What do I have to do? There's no time travel in the ones that I've picked out. There's Journey to the Center, like Journey into the Sea. There's a racing one. There's one where there's like a gigantic volcanic explosion and we have to escape from it, called Escape, because naming was not exactly the thing. Subtlety is not the cornerstone of the Choose Your Own Adventure series. Okay. Okay, so there is one more level here. So maybe there'll be some health in here. I don't remember. Okay, not all is lost. Well, to 13 hearts in the final boss. Well, I'm just gonna have to do better than that. Because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get 13 hearts. But I'm also playing with save states, so like, I'm not really playing fair anyway. I just need to do better than I was doing. And at this point I've got 12. I got 13 and a half. I've got 4 lives, which will give me 3 each, plus 1 at the top. And a bit right now. So obviously I'm going to lose a little bit on this next boss, although not much. I think I'm usually pretty good with him, so. Come on, turtle. Let's go. Bring it on. So AWOL, since you're just tuning in, rule number 1 for voting in November, vote for the Democrat. Doing anything else is accepting that you are fine with the traitorous creeps who are currently running our country, continuing to run it into the ground and hand it over to the KGB instead of the CIA. So, just be aware of that. Any other election, we can have a discussion about what we're doing, but in this one, unfortunately, it comes down to, do you support the party that is going to at least potentially push back on our ridiculous, treasonous president or not? I did look up, President Trump is not actually engaging in treason. The reason is that you can't actually engage in treason against someone that you're not at war with. So this is actually the case that there was a really famous case of espionage that like 2 people got executed for at one point. And the reason that they were tried for espionage and not treason is because they were spying for, you know, Russia, and spying for Russia, like, you can't you can't engage in treason against the U.S. because we weren't at war with Russia at the time. The things that matter to me are federal votes. You want to vote for a Republican school board counselor? I think you're probably doing the wrong thing, but, you know, feel free. The problem, like, the problem that I have with that at this point is not that the viewpoints of Republicans are, like, particularly bad, but that I don't trust anyone who can be associated with the GOP at this point is anything other than, like you're associating yourself with a brand, and it's sort of like if I associate, like, David Duke is out, you know, complimenting the GOP today, and the GOP, like, allowed an Illinois, like a neo-Nazi in Illinois to run on their platform. That is, like, the states have different things. Yeah, I was trying to say school board person, because that's like the canonical, like, doesn't actually matter. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't really describe it right. But the, like, canonical small election is, like, for school board. It's a typical place to, like, start when you get into politics and stuff like that. So that was why I picked that. I actually don't know what a treasurer does at the state level. That's not true in the general election. In the general election, I don't think there's any states at this point where you can't, like, have to vote straight ticket. In the primaries, you have to pick which party you're voting for because you're voting for who's going to end up on the general election. In the so in the primaries, you cannot vote for who will be on the Republican, like, so the primaries are like, hey, you're in a club and the club is gonna run somebody for election. Which person do you want to be able to represent you in the election? In the general election, you can vote for either party for all positions. Like, anyone who's on the ballot, you can vote for in all states. So it's because the primaries are two very different things. In the primaries, you're basically aligning yourself with a particular group and saying, like, I want to be with you and help pick out who we're going to run in the real election. Okay, so what am I doing here? Avoiding those, presumably. Oops. Okay, don't hit him there. So he's gonna come across and I gotta bounce off his head. Okay. And he's gonna come the other way and I gotta do the other way. Failed, but like that. Okay. So yeah, in the primaries you don't get to split your ticket, because that's the whole point of the primaries is to pick who runs on a particular ticket. You don't have to vote in the primaries if you don't want. Like, I think it's a better idea for you to vote in the primaries because if you vote in the primaries, you have a better chance of getting the candidate that you would like to vote for in the general election. But if you don't vote in the primaries, like, that's fine. Yeah. Not a very easy hit. Okay. So I hit him in the eye, but I got hit. There we go. So I gotta kind of aim right above his, like, right above his eyebrow. Oh, I missed the CPG rant. Okay, so when I die here, we'll quickly run the CPG rant, and then we'll come back and finish this boss off. Oh, failed. Too close. I mean, whether primaries are more important or not depends a lot on the place you're in. For the purposes of who controls, I don't know. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we're gonna pause for a second. We're gonna do something real quick, and then we're gonna come back and finish this game. So, hold your horses, and yeah. So for those of you who are new here and are not here very often, I do a little thing called the CPG rant, where I give you a little bit of a piece of my mind on a particular topic. In this case, if you are not interested in U.S. politics or not interested in the terrible actions of the White House, then you're probably in the wrong place already, but it's going to become more so for about 7 minutes here. So just sit back, relax, and learn something. After decades of denying even the most basic science in the form of climate denialism, it seems the GOP has decided they need a new target to ignore the reality on: poverty. And because who plays games, this is your CPG rant of the evening. President Trump's White House just issued a sweeping denial of poverty across America. In a report released late last week, the Trump's White House declared the war on poverty largely over and a success. The report is literally page after page denying the very real hardship that families across this country face, with lack of resources in housing, in food, and in other critical needs for survival. The White House report brazenly denies that homelessness is a meaningful problem in the United States, erasing the plight of more than 500,000 Americans. In fact, the report itself says throughout this year, 99.6% of people will not spend a single night in a homeless shelter, as if 0.4% of people spending nights in a homeless shelter in a country as rich as the United States is in any way reasonable. It tells the 40 million Americans who struggle with hunger to quit their complaining because difficulty obtaining food and reduced diet quality as a result of limited resources aren't really hunger. It says that 12.9% of people lived in households defined as food insecure in 2016. And yet attempts to say that the problem of poverty is over. It even brags that almost all Americans have access to clean water, as if that's something to brag about. And as if we don't know of a major city in this country which has lacked clean water for years. It also adds a bunch of graphs that show that poverty is theoretically solved, but the way that it does this is completely bogus. Because rather than taking any of the numerous measures of poverty that have been used for years and decades and show the growth in costs and how people are suffering around this country, they invent an almost entirely new mechanic of measuring consumption. Well, yes, if you measure consumption, it turns out that, yes, people continue to have to spend money while they are alive in order to obtain resources like housing, like food, like medical care. But if you only look at consumption as your measure of poverty, you ignore the fact that many of those who are engaging in this consumption are going deeper into debt, are borrowing money, or are living in ways that they cannot save and cannot in any way be prepared for a rainy day. It is wildly out of step with almost every measure, whether it is the cost of housing prices, whether it's how often people fell behind on their utilities, how often they fell behind on rent or their mortgage, or did not meet their basic household expenses. They draw a line which differs from the direction of every other measure since 2005, and then call it success. Now, why is it out of line with everything else like that? As I said, it's talking about consumption. If people are spending 60 to 70% of their paychecks just trying to make it to the next meal, sure, they're consuming, but what happens when something goes wrong? Now, of course, all of this is the perfect poverty denial mechanism. If you look at what people are consuming, then of course it looks like people are thriving because they have to, because costs relative to income keep going up, and so the amount of consumption that people have continues to go up. Meanwhile, nearly half of U.S. households are struggling to afford basics like food, housing, and healthcare, especially as healthcare rises again and again, with some states seeing 150% increases in premiums over the past year. 4 in 10 Americans don't even have $400 in the bank, and 5.3 million Americans are living in third world conditions of poverty, according to the UN. As with climate change, the reason they want to deny the existence of poverty in the United States is to justify a radical ideological agenda. In this case, taking away these benefits from millions who need them and depend on them to pay for tax cuts for the wealthy. As we've already seen, Paul Ryan and other Senate and House leaders have been attempting to take away the benefits and resources that are offered through programs like Medicaid and Medicare that have been offered through housing support and other types of subsidy, and remove them because they say we just can't afford them now that we've given all the money to the rich people. And a big part of the reason why Trump has to take this particular approach is that his own voters are the ones who are going to suffer the most for this. 61.3% of voters for Donald Trump in the 2016 election are the types of folks who depend on these programs. He has to say the problems are solved and we're only going to take it away from these others. Because if he was honest with people about what they were going to lose, they would be afraid. As well they should be. Because when you take away the money from the poor and give to the rich, you're doing Robin Hood the wrong way around. That's not how it goes. By dressing this up in the makers and takers frame, he makes everyone who's working a job and still not able to afford food to put on their table think it's not about me, it's about those people who just take from the government. By moving to a work-related program and work-related checks for people who are attempting to enter and exit or like get access to programs, what he does is make it seem like, oh, I'm not going after you, the good hard worker, but the reality is that that's exactly what's going on, because these programs are already means tested and all these other things. So the reality is that only the people who are getting them are the people who are working minimum wage jobs and still not able to make ends meet. It's why they're described as work requirements, because code for taking food, housing, and health away from unemployed and underemployed workers is to call it that, because that way maybe we can hide it for just a little bit longer. I will say this, the White House is correct about one thing. As long as this Trump administration is in office and pursuing the politics and practices that we are seeing here today, the war on poverty is over. We're no longer fighting poverty. We've accepted that poverty exists and will continue to exist for the long term. And instead what we're fighting is a war on the working class, a war on the people who need the help the most, a war on all those around us who need the support of these programs now more than ever. We are decrying their needs and their requirements and everything else in that vein as unnecessary and taking away the benefits they need to survive. The war on poverty is over. The next war has begun. I'm the Chris who plays games. This has been your CPG rant of the evening. This particular rant was put together with the help of Rebecca Vallis on Twitter. I want to thank Rebecca for putting together her words on Trump's release of this poverty report, which I had not seen, and for bringing this to my attention. Thanks. And we're back. Sorry for tricking you all into looking at your phones. It was not intentional. Not intentional at all. Anyway, yeah, so that's the CPG rant of the evening. It is totally my fault. Sorry. Everything's my fault. Except for the war on poverty being over. That is not my fault. That is the fault of someone else. Yeah, so one of the things I did figure out last time was if I bounce off those missiles, I can bounce into, like, the foot of the final boss, and I maybe can hit him that way? I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, see, like, I think hitting the feet like that is kind of like a... You've got to really get lucky. Ah. Alright, come on down. Come on down and dance. Come and make a romance. Let the music come into you. Let the beat get into it. Come and dance with me. Come and dance with me. There is something about tonight, and I know that it's right. Alright, I like that. I like that. Come on. Ah! Got me. You got me. Oh, crap. Yeah, I mean, the reality is that most of the time I just close the other windows in my browser, and this time I just didn't think about it. They'll just have to suffer. So for things that have, like, output device options, that's a lot more straightforward. In the case of most of the emulators, they don't actually have that option. So, like, for example, for Discord, you have the option of which sound device you want it to go to, but that's not really an option for, like, BizHawk, which makes it more difficult. It's probably possible, but just more difficult. Oh, God. Come on, baby. Okay, you're gonna come across here, and I'm gonna hit you on your eyebrow. Eyebrow incoming! God damn it. Okay. So I got one hit off without taking damage there. That's good. Yeah, so how did I'm trying to figure out if I can find that spot. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with, I'm not gonna be able to figure out how to hit him from underneath. I know I did it once, but I don't think it's, Oh, doing a little jump underneath him works? Hey, look at that. And another. Yes! Check it out. So, like, I'm just gonna hit him in the eyebrows. Come on, man. Hit me in the eyebrow. Well, sort of. Oh. I can do it. Arrgh! Ooh-ah. Yes! I can take you on, I can take on anyone. I know that you are wrong, this is not where you belong. So does this enemy have a final form as well? Miyagi? Am I gonna kill him and then I'm gonna have to kill him again? Gotcha. Ah! Alright. I will destroy you like a hurricane. Nice. I'll be back, he says. Was there a Bonk 3 that, like, came back at some point? What was that it? Success! Oh, yes, there's a Bonk 3? Cool. This appears it was about space adventures, space dinosaurs taking over Earth. I don't know, the Wikipedia page didn't even have, like, a plot summary. I'm glad the moon is full once again. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, the plot thing inside, like, you know, this Nintendo Wikia page for it, completely empty. Nobody knows what the plot for Bonk is. But I did it! Yay! Okay, Bonk 3 is easier than Bonk 2. Makes sense. Game design, Keisuke Abe. Babu Yeda. Okay, whatever. Credits can play. So this is gonna be the last game for the evening. I'm not gonna switch to another one. I'm gonna actually maybe like get to bed a little bit early and go to sleep and shit. But we'll let the credits play out first. In the meantime, 1, vote for Democrats. 2, vote. 3, get your friends to vote. Family, everyone else. Volunteer with a voting organization near you. Go out there and do it, because voting is good. If you want to argue with me about that, bring it on. I'll take it. But it's really important. And so, do. Thanks for watching Bonk tonight with me. And thank you very much, Hiyagi, for the help. I appreciate it. Giving me all the right routes so I could get full lives and everything else like that. That's awesome. And there is no lounge, AWOL. It's dead. It's gone. No lounge. I haven't rebuilt my feature yet. Booga! Which means see ya in Bonk language, I guess. Sorry, man. I wish. We could do rabbit, actually. Let's do that. Let me figure out, see if I can figure out how to do rabbit. Rabbit. This requires you to install an app if on your phone, probably, if you don't have one, but log in. Give me 1 second. Okay. Save. Let's see. How do I do this? My room. Post an open room. Game Maker's Toolkit.
Disabled people.
Okay.
Video games are for everyone. But there's one group who have, historically, been treated as a bit of an afterthought. Disabled people. Many millions of people live with hearing loss or...
Anyway, so yeah, so there is a link. Yeah, so follow that link. You may have to install the Rabbit app on your phone if you're on your phone. I'll be there for a little while hanging out and watching videos, and you can watch things with me. So, Hiyaga is talking about the other Bonk games. So he's talking about how these were Bonk 3, Bonk 3 Adventure. Yeah, so you like Bonk 2 the best, so I'm glad we played your favorite Hiyaga, and I'm glad you were able to make it, and thanks for watching. Everyone else, have a great night. If you are interested in watching, you can hop into Rabbit with me. Link is here, and other than that, I will see you on Friday, and I'll be doing Choose Your Own Adventure games. So Choose Your Own Adventure games are awesome. Not games, books, whatever. So tune in for that. You'll be able to vote, and it'll be more fun if we get more people to vote. So ask your friends, ask your neighbors, ask everyone else. It'll be awesome. I will catch you later. Bye-bye.